On a luxurious ship, the best student in school Gao Yu proposes to Ellen, the goddess of the school. Everyone cheers them on. At the same time, an uninterested guy Qin Tian watches YouTube where Master talks wilderness adventure blogs. Just then the atmosphere turns stormy and everyone panics and goes back to their cabins. Qin Tian's surprised who mentioned Titanic before he knows it is too late for him to go back to the cabins and runs off to a different place. He tries to grab a boat, but the ship turns upside down. Everything turns dark and the wilderness system activates. Qin Tian got washed up on the shore and woke up. He survived, but he can't see anyone on the island. They're probably a rescue team, but he must hold out first. He locates coconuts in the area, and he is happy that he can use the knife now that he bought after falling in love with Master Wilderness Adventure blogs. While he drinks coconut water, he memorializes hearing a system when he was unconscious. Soon after the system presents the beginner package, he gets surprised by the system window and clicks on the package. He receives 2 books about common plants and animals. The books then absorbed in his head and Qin Tian gained some weird knowledge. He noticed that he can see the information on the coconuts. Soon after he hears a loud scream and realizes that there is someone else on the island. Qin Tian runs in the direction of the scream and discovers Ellen being attacked by a venomous snake. Ellen screams for help. Qin Tian grabs the snake and smashes it against a tree. He then tells Ellen to cover herself first with clothes. Ellen gets embarrassed. She feels grateful to Qin Tian, but wonders if she is not attractive because he didn't even look at her. They both introduce themselves to each other, and Ellen is happy. She got to meet a companion from the ship. Later they eat coconuts and drink the water. Qin Tian asks if Ellen has a phone, but she claims that all her stuff is gone. Yet, Ellen is confident that rescue teams will come. Qin Tian tells her first to prepare a fire to move away insects and snakes. Ellen wonders how they can start a fire, and Qin Tian advised looking for something useful on the beach. They have been searching for an hour, but the beach is too clean. While Qin Tian is thinking, Ellen finds something. She discovers a plastic bottle and decides to throw it away. Qin Tian stops her. Ellen wonders how it will be useful. Qin Tian collects some wood and grass. He uses the bottle with water like a magnifying glass, and he successfully ignites a fire. Later at night, Ellen wonders if they are going to starve to death. While waiting for rescue, Qin Tian reassures her that rescue will come in a few days and they can survive for a week with the resources they have. He needs to lie in order to calm Ellen's mind. Qin Tian then takes out the snake and starts butchering it. Ellen asks if it is their dinner, and Qin Tian confirms. Ellen swears not to eat it. Qin Tian cooks the snake meat and later eats it, while exclaiming that it is delicious. Ellen tries to ignore her, but Qin Tian keeps saying that it is delicious. Ellen stops him and snatches a stick of snake meat. She happily eats it. Qin Tian is happy to encounter the snake and wonders what happened to the system. Soon after, the system gives him points for lighting a bonfire, surprising Qin Tian in the process. He notices that only he can see the system. Ellen worries and Qin Tian wonders if he can tell her about the system. He thinks he might be dissected and experimented. Once people find out about the system, he takes some time and checks more details, and sees that the system is like those in video games. He thinks where to use the points, and an exchange store appears. As he scrolls, he wonders and notices something that might be useful. Almost everything is expensive, and he doesn't have that many points. Besides, he closes the system and lies down on the ground. He plans to collect fish and prawn to give their bodies nutrients. He then notices that Ellen is already sleeping, and plans to talk about it tomorrow. Few hours later, Qin Tian wakes up due to the cold weather. He sees Ellen shivering in cold, and he wakes her up. Qin Tian is happy that she's fine. Ellen gets surprised and panics. Qin Tian tries to explain, but Ellen keeps shouting and calling him pervert. Just then Ellen realizes about her misunderstandings. Qin Tian turns around and tells her to get near the fire to avoid freezing to death. Ellen feels the coldness and gets near the fire. Qin Tian finds the temperature between day and night weird. The two only have thin clothes, considering their ship were sailing near the equator. The shivering Qin Tian then advised that Ellen and him hug each other to survive the night. However, she disagrees. Even with the campfire, Ellen still feels cold and almost numb. She worries about getting close to a boy. However, she sees Qin Tian, her savior, shivering. She stands up and tells Qin Tian to close his eyes. Qin Tian wonders why she is undressing, and Ellen embarrassingly mentions the scenes she saw in the movies. Qin Tian claims it only happens when you have thick clothes. They have thin clothes that are enough to transfer heat to each other. Qin Tian then covers his arms around Ellen, and they find it warmer now. Next day, Ellen wakes up and sees that it is already daybreak. She finds the scenery beautiful. Seeing that it is low tide, Qin Tian runs to find crabs and prawn. Regardless of Ellen struggling to catch crabs, they manage to get breakfast. Later, Qin Tian starts preparing the crab's meat. Ellen wonders why he throws away the crab shells with meat, and Qin Tian explains that crabs are cold, which can make your stomach uncomfortable. While grilling their catch, Qin Tian advised building a camp in the forest. The beach is colder at night and they are at risk of freezing to death. Qin Tian also tells that the forest has more resources. Before leaving for the forest, they need to have some water and leave a signal for help. They look up at some coconuts, and Qin Tian removes his belt. He turns it into a bipedal rope and uses it to climb the tree. He tells Ellen to get away and starts plucking out the coconuts. He is happy. The fresh coconuts got more water and pours it into the bottle. Then Qin Tian tells Ellen to throw away the coconuts she is carrying. Ellen finds it a waste, and Qin Tian tells her that she will vomit if she drinks too much coconut water and has diarrhea. They left the beach with a help signal. The two travels in the forest and take a break afterward. While replenishing their water, Ellen asks Qin Tian why he always observing small bushes along the way. Qin Tian then tells Ellen that the snake from yesterday usually lives in fresh water. Ellen gets excited, knowing that there's fresh water nearby. She wonders how they can find, and Qin Tian points out a path free of grasses and branches. Ellen realizes that animals are like humans, so the animals might have taken the path to get water. As they continue traveling, Ellen asks if Qin Tian is a person who loves wilderness activities. Qin Tian claims he is someone who loves wilderness activities. Just then Ellen hears something. Qin Tian hears it too and drags Ellen somewhere. They find a free-flowing body of fresh water. Ellen gets excited, and Qin Tian washes his face with the water while Ellen drinks some water, but Qin Tian stops her. The two later move a bit further, and Ellen suggests taking refuge on the riverbank. However, Qin Tian reminds her that wild animals will smash into them. They find a flat area, and Qin Tian tells Ellen to collect large leaves and branches, while he finds wood for the campfire and tent building. Qin Tian finds some dried wood and quickly makes a campfire. He remembers passing by some trees that he can use it for making a tent. However, he only got a knife. He remembers something, and goes to the riverbank to find a rock, which he turns into an axe later. He uses the stone axe to cut down a small tree. Later he ties up the small trees he cut and returns to their refuge. Ellen greets him with some banana leaves. She claims there is a banana field near the riverbank. They now have materials, so they start constructing their tent. Qin Tian plans to make a one-sided tent. He sharpens a tree branch and sticks it to the ground. He finishes building the tent, but Ellen looks disappointed. Qin Tian claims it is helpful to expose the fire's warmth in their direct action. Just then, the system rewards him points for building a trash tent. He laughs seeing the system laugh at his work. Now that they have a tent, the next problem is food. The seafood and coconuts are quite far from their current location. He then plans to visit the banana field Ellen discovered. However, their new problem is jungle mosquitoes that can cause fever if bitten too much. Ellen asks for help, and Qin Tian attracts the mosquitoes with a whistle. He burns some leaves so he can smoke out the mosquitoes. Their condition is better now, and Qin Tian tells keeping watch on wild animals. However, Ellen is already fast asleep. He lays her down and decides to keep watch instead. He uses the time to make some rope using tree bark. Morning comes, and Ellen wakes up from her refreshing sleep. She finds the rope Qin Tian made, and he threatens her to do the night watch next. She apologizes and offers to do the night watch, but Qin Tian doesn't trust her after seeing that she can easily sleep while sitting. He then asks where the banana field is, and she points out the direction. Qin Tian notices the nearby bushes and discovers raspberries. Ellen tastes them, but they are too sour. It seems like they are not ripe yet. They later find the banana field, and Qin Tian ties a rope to a rock. He throws it at the banana stalk and tries to pull it down. The banana tree breaks instead and falls on Qin Tian. He pulls out a banana and offers it to Ellen, but Ellen refused. He peeled the banana and ate it himself. However, the banana is hard, and Ellen mentions that it might be raw. Qin Tian claims that they can't eat it because it is a wild banana with huge seeds. Seeing as the tree hasn't gone into mutation, the bananas are inedible. Qin Tian then suggests eating meat instead. Ellen wonders where we get meat, and Qin Tian shows the banana leaf with a worm. He claims that the banana worm has 6 times the protein content of a buffalo's meat. They return to their camp, and they grill the worms. They ate them, and Ellen enjoyed them. She finds it more satisfying than the snake meat. She then discovers Qin Tian changing the bottle shape. He claims it is for catching fish. He saw some fish in the stream, and he can use the bottle to trap them. He explains how the trap works. The system awards him some points for creating the trap. Ellen wonders what to use now to drink water, and Qin Tian suggests using coconut shells. Ellen worries that the coconut shell will break when boiled. Qin Tian suggests using heated stones in it. He plans to leave the trap first, before setting out to the seashore. They leave the trap with banana worms in a shady area. Ellen suddenly smells something and walks away, while Qin Tian finds the smell familiar. Ellen finds something, and they are bushes of mint. Qin Tian decides to get some to repel the mosquitoes in their camp. Ellen gets surprised by the new knowledge, and starts collecting a bunch of them. After getting a lot of mints, they return to their camp, and plant the mints around the camp. The two sat down, and Qin Tian told Ellen to take her time to rest. Qin Tian creates a stone hammer, and gets system points. He realizes he can get more points by making survival tools. Ellen wonders why he is happy. Later, they visits the beach and discover the coconuts they left on the seashore have been opened. He notices how the coconuts are broken by a strong force not belonging to a human being. Ellen gets scared thinking it might be tigers, but Qin Tian confirms that they don't eat coconut. He sees a trail and thinks of other coconut-eating creatures present. Ellen remembers the coconut crabs. He points out the small trail that a crab can leave. They follow the trail and discover the coconut crab climbing another coconut tree. Ellen shocked at the massive claws of the crab. They prepare to catch it, and Ellen notices that it has already come down. Ellen hurries, but Qin Tian tells her not to worry, because it has nowhere to go. Ellen gets scared, seeing Qin Tian's expression. Ellen can't believe a coconut crab can crack and open the coconut like a banana. Qin Tian menacingly approaches it, and grabs the open coconut. The crab angrily opens another coconut, and Qin Tian grabs the coconut again. The crab gets mad, and Ellen realizes Qin Tian's real motive. Qin Tian then easily ties down the coconut crab. They later walk back, but Ellen requests a break. She mentions that it is already the third day, and there are still no rescue teams. Ellen gets worried, however Qin Tian reassures herself that it might take them a week. Instead, she walks again, and Qin Tian also worries. They return to the stream and discover that their fish trap worked. He tells Ellen to return to the camp. While he prepares the fish, he plans to place the trap again, and the system rewards him with points for catching fish. He already had enough points to buy something from the shop. He returns to the camp and discovers Ellen building a stove with rocks to cook the coconut crab. They cook the crab and eat it satisfyingly. Qin Tian goes to sleep first, and he will change to night watch with Ellen at midnight. Ellen nervously does her night watch, and suddenly a hand taps made her surprised. She tries to hit Qin Tian with the hammer. She claims that she hasn't called him yet. However, Qin Tian tells her to get some sleep, and Ellen goes to sleep. Qin Tian wants to use this chance to check the shop, but first Qin Tian tries to boil water using a heated stone. However, the ashes make the water unclear. Still, boiling it will remove the bacteria, and the mint is also helpful to keep him awake. Just then, Ellen screams in her dream. She dreams of the rescue team rescuing them. It looks like she is really not a positive person at all. Qin Tian thinks Ellen hypnotized herself to get over the tragic accident. If no one comes within a few days, then she will give up hope. Qin Tian then opens the system shop and finds books that he can buy with his current points. He chooses the book about manufacturing tools, and the knowledge is immediately delivered to his head. Qin Tian quickly learns things, and he can use them to live on the island longer. He then notices the lucky wheel and gets a free spin for his first purchase. The wheel doesn't have a free space, and a prize is guaranteed. He spins the wheel and wins a prize that is worth 10,000 points in the shop. He gets to choose to use it now, and is afraid that he is lucky today. Despite being an unlucky person, he chooses to use the prize later. Morning comes and Ellen wakes up. She looks for Qin Tian, and he later arrives with freshly caught fish. Ellen tells him to tell her the next time. He leaves while the fish are being cooked. Ellen embarrassingly tells Qin Tian not to go to the stream. Qin Tian then advises her not to pollute the water. Ellen shouts that she will only take a shower. Qin Tian realizes that they haven't taken a bath since being stranded on the island, and he can smell himself. He then shouts at Ellen that she will go look for other place. Some hours later, Qin Tian looks around and finds wild mushrooms. He is happy that he has the system to identify plants around him. However, some plants don't appear in the book he bought from the store, so he is not sure if they are edible. Qin Tian finds a rabbit. He uses his hammer as a distraction and tries to catch it. But the rabbit is so fast, he remembers Ellen and goes back to the campsite. Soon after he hears Ellen scream. He quickly runs over and Ellen sure that there is a snake. Qin Tian runs and grabs the snake, but it turns out to be an eel. Ellen then tells him to get out. Qin Tian is more focused on getting a new type of food to eat. Ellen finishes her bath and sees Qin Tian waiting for her. She tells him to stop staring, and Qin Tian, blushing, claims that she looks beautiful. Ellen gets embarrassed and returns first to their camp. She gets mad at herself for getting shy over Qin Tian's words. Qin Tian also didn't expect to let out such words, then removes his clothes and plans to check for more eels. He finds holes in the wet mud and covers one of them. He can't use his bare hands because some crabs or poisonous snakes might also live in the holes. He remembers grabbing a water snake instead of an eel when he was young. Eels are attracted to water grass. So, Qin Tian uses a water grass stalk to lure out the eel. He feels a bite and pulls out the eel. He later returns to the camp with more eels. Ellen worries that they can't do everything at once. Qin Tian suggests smoking the meat to preserve it. He smokes the eel so that the meat can last for weeks or months. Ellen asks if she can help with anything because Qin Tian is the one who does almost everything. Qin Tian will teach Ellen how to make ropes out of tree bark so they can finish the windshield. He leaves Ellen in the camp and check the trap in the stream. The trap can only catch 2 or 3 fish each time. He makes a small lake beside the stream to store the fish he catches, so they won't worry about food. Night comes and the two cook the eel meat with berries. Ellen takes a bite and drowns in the yummy taste. Qin Tian finds her weird now. 2 days later, Qin Tian returns to where he got the mushrooms. They already ran out of eels and he needs to catch some wild rabbits today. In a flashback, Qin Tian breaks the old windshield to create a bigger one. With Ellen's help they made a better version that feels safer to live in. Qin Tian tries to recall the path where the wild rabbit ran. He tries to find a place with less grass and finds trees with burrows. He covers the holes he found and leaves 2 open. He places burning horseshoe fungi near the holes to smoke the rabbits out. Soon after, a rabbit comes out and Qin Tian easily catches it. However, it is an offspring. Another rabbit runs out and Qin Tian recalls that rabbits live in herds. He checks the hole and discovers more small rabbits. He catches everyone and brings them back to their camp. Ellen gets excited over the rabbits. Qin Tian is impressed that Ellen made a lot of ropes. He then claims to butcher them, but Ellen disagrees because they are too cute to eat. However, Ellen claims it is better to fatten them up first, before they get eaten. Qin Tian didn't expect those words from Ellen. She knows that they don't have a choice but to kill them for survival. Qin Tian then butchers the biggest one and sets aside the fur for future use. The two eat dinner and find the rabbit meat stinky. Qin Tian asks Ellen why she is cheerful, and Ellen claims that the next day is the 7th day. She still thinks that a rescue team will come, and Qin Tian tries to act happy too. They are done eating and Ellen wonders what Qin Tian is doing. Qin Tian plans to start a fire using a different method based on the camping book he got from the store. There are various ways of starting a fire. He tries using a wooden bow, and he is successful in starting a fire. The next morning, they leave the camp and arrive at the shore. Qin Tian knows they will be waiting until night, so he starts preparing. Dusk comes and Ellen asks Qin Tian why the rescue team is not yet here. She starts losing hope and Qin Tian gets worried. Ellen grabs his hand and cries out that they will die on the island by themselves. She continues to cry as she loses hope. Qin Tian slaps her and Ellen asks why he did that. Qin Tian tells her to cry everything out. Ellen hugs him while crying out loud. Qin Tian tells her not to worry because he is with her. The night passes by. The next morning Ellen slaps Qin Tian. Revenge for the previous night. She also thanked him, but Qin Tian didn't hear her. She then tries to change the topic and ask him to check the low tide. Qin Tian corrects her saying that it is not yet time, they have a meal first. While waiting, Ellen read in a book that a person missing for 2 years is considered legally dead. Qin Tian mentions that a rescue team will give up after a month of no results. Ellen gets mad at him for being negative. Qin Tian then suggests creating a boat and escaping the island themselves. Ellen thinks Qin Tian is cool right now. Qin Tian then tells her to get some seafood now that it is low tide. They later return to the camp and Qin Tian is glad that the rabbits didn't run away. They cook the seafood they collected. Qin Tian tells Ellen to eat first, but she must not throw away the shells, because they will be useful later. The seafood is only temporary, and Qin Tian must find another source of food. Ellen can notice Qin Tian's dark circles. Qin Tian later takes a nap and asks Ellen to wake him up at midnight to switch to night. Watching Ellen thinks it is her fault that Qin Tian didn't get enough sleep last night. The morning comes and Qin Tian is surprised. He gets mad at Ellen for not picking her up, but Ellen just wants him to fully recover from his sleep. Qin Tian then tells Ellen to sleep for rest of the day. Qin Tian sets out to find more resources. He has been searching for 2 hours, but he finds nothing. He then decides to go to the shore, instead to get seafood again. Soon after he notices something, he runs and comes across a bamboo forest. Bamboo is a multifunctional plant. Qin Tian has a hard time cutting down a bamboo tree. He brings one down and remembers that there might be bamboo shoots nearby. He cuts the bamboo into pieces and loads them up. He returns to the camp and Ellen tells him to eat what she cooked. Qin Tian stares at a burnt fish, and Ellen asks how it is. It doesn't taste good, but Qin Tian says Ellen to try it and she complains about how hard and bitter it is. Ellen apologizes for wasting food, and Qin Tian claims that it is still edible. Qin Tian tells her to eat the mushroom instead, but Ellen keeps eating the burnt fish. The night deepens and Ellen asks what Qin Tian is doing with the bamboo. He plans to make a fish trap to replace the plastic bottle. Ellen then helps cut some bamboo to create water bottles. Qin Tian is happy that Ellen is willing to work and finish it on her own based on the survival book. Qin Tian creates a fish trap, and he gets points for it. Ellen shows what she made, and Qin Tian compliments her work. She asks if Qin Tian has anything to do tomorrow, and she plans to go with him to help. Qin Tian is impressed with how Ellen changed, and plans to make good use of her. The next day, the two go to the bamboo forest. Ellen finds the place next to the bamboo forest more suitable for a camp. However, Qin Tian points out that food is their priority right now. Ellen is tasked with looking for bamboo shoots, and she finds a bunch of them. After she collected bundles of them, she discovered the sound of wild boars. She stays silent and runs over to Qin Tian. Qin Tian gets surprised, and Ellen points in the direction of the boars. Qin Tian grabs Ellen's hands and tells her to run and leave the place quickly. Though they are carnivores, wild boars can attack ferociously. However, more wild boars appear on the side where they came out. Qin Tian signals Ellen to be quiet, but the wild boars smell them. The two then quickly ran away. However, the boars are fast. Ellen is tired, but she can't hold back Qin Tian. Ellen tells Qin Tian to go and leave her. Qin Tian gets mad at this. He then faces the herd of boars and shouts out loud. The boars freeze in place and Qin Tian continues making loud noises. It works well and he throws his stone axe at the herd of boars. The herd runs away, and Qin Tian falls to the ground in relief. Ellen gets worried and Qin Tian tells her that he is fine, and they need to move now. Qin Tian notices a boar left alone, and notices that it is wounded. A boar left alone will feel terrified and become more aggressive. Qin Tian throws his axe at the boar and baits it. He tells Ellen to go back to their camp. Qin Tian then activates his skill which he receives from the system and he gets faster like a leopard. He gets far away but the skill drains too much of his energy. He falls to the ground thinking that he escaped from the boar already. Soon after, birds create a ruckus nearby. Qin Tian wonders if it is the boar, and yes it is. Qin Tian gets surprised and climbs a nearby tree. As he feels lucky that the boar can't climb, the boar starts striking the tree, and Qin Tian grabs properly at the tree, until the boar gets tired and stops as it walks away. Qin Tian remembers how precious pork is. He jumps off the tree and confronts the boar. The boar charges at him which Qin Tian quickly dodges. The boar hits the tree making it unconscious. Qin Tian finishes it off, but the boar had too much vitality. Qin Tian continues attacking it until it falls dead. He receives points for hunting the wild boar. The wild boar is too heavy, so he plans to get it back the next day. After resting and recovering, he hopes that no other predators will find the boar. Meanwhile, Ellen is in a hurry to make a stone axe to help Qin Tian. She rips her dress and collects ashes. Qin Tian asks what she is doing, and Ellen claims that ashes can blind the boars, so they can escape. Ellen then realizes that she has been talking to Qin Tian, and he appears with a fish in hand. Ellen looks happy and hugs Qin Tian. She was afraid that she wouldn't see him again. She notices that he is wet, and he claims it is a long story. It got awkward when Qin Tian started stripping. Ellen tells him that they are not kids anymore, and reminds him to dry his clothes first. Just then Qin Tian flashes himself to Ellen. Ellen quickly covers her eyes and Qin Tian claims he was wearing underpants that night. Ellen feels bad about leaving the bamboo shoots behind. Qin Tian tells her that he killed the boar. Ellen worries about encountering the boars again. and Qin Tian can only think of making a bow and arrow to fight back. The next morning Qin Tian quickly returns to the boar he killed and discovers that other animals found it. Luckily there are more parts left. He notices a scratch mark from another animal. He starts butchering the boar and brings it back to the camp with Bamboo Boo. Meanwhile Ellen is making a needle from a rabbit's bone, and Qin Tian surprises her. Ellen gets mad and notices the meat Qin Tian brought back. Ellen wonders how he will use the fat, and Qin Tian claims that it can be used to make a fat-based oil. However, they don't have a container. Qin Tian then asks Ellen for help making one. He plans to do pottery, and he feels lucky that the clay nearby is usable. He remembers the steps from the survival book. He tries to make one, but it looks like something unusable. He throws it away. He then makes a small bowl and discovers Ellen made better-looking ones. He then asks her to make one big enough for cooking. Qin Tian makes a furnace for drying the clay until it gets dark during dinner. Qin Tian feels glad that they won't have food problems for the next month. Ellen notices Qin Tian smiling and claims that he is just happy to be alive. Qin Tian compliments Ellen's ability to repair. Ellen claims she must learn how because they don't have any clothes to change into. Qin Tian then tells her not to worry because they can change their clothes soon.